Hello, Bruce. How you doing?
I cannot wait to have you guys back in town. It's become a family tradition for us. We look forward to seeing you and the Pops. And, of course, it's been a tradition longer than even you or I have been alive, Keith.
Well, that's true, and the Pops goes way back in everybody's memory and consciousness. But this holiday tour has really become a very modern tradition that affects thousands of families in Boston and beyond. And we've been coming to Worcester since, of course, before I joined the Pops. And I'm just looking forward to coming back and reconnecting with some of our friends at the lovely Hanover Theater.
Absolutely, which is such a great venue to enjoy a show like the one the Pops bring to town. This is maybe something you have to kind of look inside yourself, but I'm going to ask. Now, Keith, you've been leading the Pops now for how many decades?
Well, how many decades? 24 years.
24 years. Now, that's one heck of a run, but I've got to ask, let me take you back 24 years. Young Keith Lockhart takes the baton. And is he a little bit intimidated by the fact that he's following in the footsteps of people like John Williams and Arthur Fiedler?
I was a little nervous around the edges, but you try to continue to, make friends where you can. And, after a while, I got over the feeling that I was borrowing my dad's car.
Well, if you're going to have to make friends in the position you're in, Keith, always make sure you make friends with the woodwind section. They'll never let you down.
Spoken like a true woodwind player.
Honest to goodness. Now, let me ask you this. The show, of course, because of the decades worth of tradition, would make one think, oh, well, after a while, it's going to be the same old thing. But it's never the same thing. It's never the same holiday concert twice with the Pops, is it?
Well, it's always the big balancing act. Of course, we want to have people recognize things and go, wow, I love that piece every year when it comes around, but we don't want to make the concert a carbon copy of the previous year's concert. So we balance very carefully, make sure that there are lots of new experiences. We have a huge repertoire. We're always putting new pieces into the fold, and I think this year people who have come every year for the past decade and people who are there for the first time will all find something to love.
When it comes to holiday concert time, I know all the rushing around and the craziness and making any kind of preparation, but from the moment you take that stage and you pick up that baton, you're just swallowed up into a world of music, and it's so obvious to those of us that sit back to enjoy the passion you yourself have for what you're doing. Boy, you wave that baton like every note is one of magic, and it really is.
Well, I love my job, and it's great, especially this time of the year, to be able to present such a great orchestra to so many people. And, as long as I keep loving it, I'll keep doing it.
In years past, there have been a few surprise guests that have popped out every once in a while. Anything without letting the cat out of the bag that may surprise us?
Well, they're often, when we go to places outside of Symphony Hall, they're often surprises to us, too. So we'll let you know when we actually know who it is, which will be, shortly before we do the concert.
Fair enough. Well, don't be too surprised if you look out across the orchestra and see me sitting at one of the oboe stands. Oh, for heaven's sake.
I'll look forward to that.
For heaven's sake, it's always a pleasure. Keith, it's always a pleasure to have your company here on the show. And B, it's something so much of us here in Worcester look forward to every year. Can't wait to see the Pops. Of course, the show again is this Friday night at the Hanover Theater. I'm figuring some tickets are still available, but this is always a huge crowd, so get them while you still can, I guess would be the call to action.
I think that's always a good idea when it comes to holiday Pops.